Welcome back to Roundball Digest. I'm Fran Libanati along with the coach Bruce Leib, and we have covered the Wyoming Valley West game real well, but of course as a coach in a tough league, wonderful game. But tonight you're looking at the Berwick Bulldogs, another team picked early in the season as one of the top squads in the league.
Well, definitely. They have 5 starters coming back, does Berwick, and once again, they've been up and down. They're capable, playing very well, led by their point guard, Clarko, whose father I coached, Bobby Clarko. I coached as a JV player at Hazelton High back in 1977-78 season. He's a little better than his daddy, I think. Shoots a little better, so and that's a compliment to the young man. His dad was a very fine player, but he leads them. Chris Banyas, their all-state football player, like Don Patrick, and again, I know we want to congratulate Donnie Patrick on first-team All-State, second year in a row, unprecedented, but he and Chris Banyas, he also made first team, but he can shoot the ball. Chris had 11 threes in a game last year. So they have some players. Ex-coach Joe Nespoli's son starts. He's the third guard. Kiefer's a nice inside-out player like a Jonathan Veet. And they have a 6'9" kid, Cole in the lane, who, if he stays out of foul trouble, could give us problems. We're countering with the vastly improved Donnie Patrick. He really had 2 key steals to win that ball game up at Valley West. He, with the game tied, he comes up, we go to denial, he steals the ball off Phil Boncheski, and then he tips one away in the lane after we go up 2. So really, he came on like the all-state athlete he is. Also, Jonathan Veet had some big baskets. So our team is really clicking. Jason Krause, Chris Sly, Bobby Broyan, Eric Yablonsky, and Billy Watt off the bench, and Billy Jameson are our top 8 players. But the other night, Richard Lease plays 13 minutes, doesn't turn the ball over once. So you never know who's going to be called, as you know.
Yeah, it's kudos to you guys, your coaching staff, because you bring a young boy in who had not played before in the biggest game of the season and incredibly played like a veteran. And I think that's a tribute once again to the way you guys played a game of basketball.
Well, he was called upon mainly, to be honest with you. Billy Jameson was ill. I told him just to sit on the bench, and I meant in his street clothes. And he dressed, thankfully, because he played well, but he couldn't go a lot of minutes. And then when John got in foul trouble, John Veet and Donald, the next person was Richard Lease, and he did a nice job.
I also think it's great that you coaches, what's been happening. The fact Donald Patrick, as we said before, I haven't seen that many football players in my lifetime, but it's awfully difficult to think of one being better than Donald. Also, the fact that you have Billy Watt and Mr. Jameson on your squad, and what I'm simply saying is that's 3 football players who have played a very, very key role on a basketball team, and I'm glad to see that. It looks like the return of the 2 or 3 sport athlete again, Coach.
Well, hopefully, and we've always welcome football players that come out. It's just a timing thing, if a kid is right for the team and there's a spot available. And this year, of course, we were young and they fit in very well. Donald Patrick, of course, has led the pack, but like you said, Billy Watt and Billy Jameson have done some excellent things.
And it's interesting because I think Jameson gives us the bulk you expect from a football player, yet Watt gives you the finesse that but then you look at the positions they played. You're talking tackles and wide receivers and quarterbacks, and I really think they've given a degree of stability to a very young team.
Well, Billy Watt will play, tonight. Eric Yablonsky was sick and missed practice yesterday, so Billy will be our first guard coming in, and he's athletic. He can do something. He can rebound, take it to the hole. He just needs to go in there, and I need to give him some time, and so he can gain his confidence. But I think you might see Billy Watt early tonight.
Okay, interesting now because some of the other teams did play games over the weekend. Of course, we did not play. Maybe you could comment on some of those and any surprises, or fill our audience in on some of the results.
Well, again, the key game was Berwick-Coughlin, won by Coughlin 63-41 at Coughlin. However, Berwick came out 14-4, was winning the game, scored like 12 straight points. Clarko hit a 3, Banyas hit a 3, and Nespoli hit a 3. They're 3 guards, so they can shoot. Our matchup has to be tough. If we play matchup, we must get out on the shooters. We must deny Cole the ball and help control the boards. Our man-to-man has to be tough, and we have to help on Clarko, who's a definite penetrator, and he will spot up and hit the 3. Loves to penetrate and take shots in the lane. We can't foul him in there. He's been prone to miss shots in the lane. But again, they're a nice team. And again, Valley West, I would say, by most of the coaches in the league, Valley West and Berwick were the top two teams going in. You never could count out Coughlin and or Pittston. Tuncanic's a little down, but they're well coached by Tony Kineski.
I guess Berwick has a very interesting coaching staff. Am I correct? The head coach is in his first year,
yes.
And then a very interesting assistant coach. Maybe you could comment.
Definitely. Billy Callahan, who was an excellent player at Wilkes-Barre GAR, and then went on to Dickinson and played there, is the head coach, and he'll do a fine job. I think he's a fine young coach. His assistant was a young man named Greg Skripanak, who I actually got to coach in an All-Star game. The one and only All-Star game I coached, and I said I really don't want to ever coach another one, was when I had Paul Grafovich and Greg Skripanak. Scott Nicholas was on the team, and that's when we used to play Division I against, split the Division I and Division II. So there are actually some Division I players on the other team, and we won a close game like 96-93, the way All-Star games should be. But I haven't talked to him since, so it'll be nice seeing him again. He's a fine young man, and I understand he's just taking a year off from the NFL, and he'll be back in there next year.
That's interesting. If you were coaching that team, when you look at Nicholas and Skripanak, give you the strength underneath, and of course Grafovich, I still think it's a legend. He and Michael Joseph, some of the games that those guys had against each other.
Well, that's why I don't want to coach any more All-Star games. We only won by 3 against my buddy Stanley Waleski years ago from Pittston, and anything could happen in those All-Star games.
Okay, so in addition, now Berwick was defeated. Anybody else? Did Pittston get an opportunity to play?
No, because their game was postponed. They were supposed to play at night, I believe, against Valley West. Or it was Valley West Tuncanic, something like that. There weren't. I think that was the only game in our division. Crestwood, interesting score. Crestwood defeated Nanticoke last night, and I understand the score was something like 59-40.
It's amazing.
If I'm wrong on that, I'm going to blame Josh Grabelny, our fine teacher and excellent former coach and athlete. He told me today in school 59-40, and he picked up the score. And I hope he wasn't given the girls' score there, but Josh is usually right on the money.
I'm going to go along with the coach because it looked as though Crestwood won rather handily, and it's again credit to you because you had talked about this team saying that Crestwood's going to be one of the real strengths. You like the way they're coached.
Definitely. Surprising score, though. Yeah. Again, the girls usually play Monday night, and I missed the score totally. Josh said something to me about it this morning in school, and if that's true, I'd love to see the box score. I know Crestwood is tough. It might have been at Crestwood, but Nanticoke, very, very good team. And again, Crestwood, gets dropped. I believe Pittston dropped them, so it's a funny league. It's a real funny league. It's going to be a dogfight here.
It's interesting too because right now you stand 4-0, but like you said, you're talking here a ball game, and of course you still have to go to Pittston. And I'm going back to over the years, even going back to Hazelton High School. It seems like Pittston has always played us very, very tough on their home court.
Yeah, they're one of the toughest teams to play away for some reason. They really shoot the ball much better up there, and they really get after it. And it's never easy winning on the road. It's never easy winning down here. We have to be really psyched up, and our kids have been playing well, and they are psyched and motivated. So, we'll take what comes, Libby. Nobody can guarantee a win. Our kids will be prepared, and hopefully they come out sharp and not flat. As a coach, I am concerned about the layoff. Of course, I'm not going to say anything to the kids about that. We're going to be ready to go, but it's a week layoff. We've had them before, and hopefully we're rested and we can play very well.
I was going to mention, Coach, have you gotten a chance, and I know that you rely a great deal on your scouts and so forth, have you got a chance to at least see Berwick under a couple game conditions?
I haven't personally. We've scouted them at least 2 or 3 times, and I have several scouts. I haven't had a chance to get to see Berwick. I know their personnel. Like I said, they have 5 starters back, and I know exactly what the kids are capable of doing. And with the scouts that I have, that's one good thing that if you could remember kids, especially kids that are coming back. Berwick, of course, new coach, they do some different things.
I was just going to ask you about that. It's amazing. You touched right upon it. I was going to say, what impact when you get a new coach in the league, how in the way do you again go by with, hey, I know the team and I'm going to have to prepare more for that, or you take into consideration the fact that it's a new coach and you might see a new dimension?
Well, both. I mean, both. Billy does some nice stuff. I know he likes to play a 2-man game, a lot of pick and roll with Cole and Clarko. They run some flex. They have a nice interchanging 1-3-1 offense against the matchup. But basically, you have to know the personnel. That's the key. Against no matter what offense team runs against you, you have to know the personnel and what those kids are capable of doing and try to stop, what they're capable of doing well.
I think some of the fans may not be aware, but we still play halves, Coach. Am I correct, in the Wyoming Valley Conference? Because
yes.
They might be looking at the fact that you're now splitting and playing certain teams just once.
We're splitting, but we play 3 crossover games in each half, and then play, since there's 6 teams in our conference, our Division I, we play 5. So it's 5 in our conference, 3 crossover. We already played our 3 crossover in Dallas, Wyoming area, and who am I missing? I always forget them. And Hanover, yeah. A very good Hanover team.
Exactly.
Now we have Crestwood, Nanticoke, and Lake Lehman in the second half.
That's interesting, because you're saying then we've only played Wyoming Valley West from our own division then. Am I correct? Because,
that is correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And you did mention Crestwood's going to be tough. Do you have them home or away for in the first?
We have them away. We have Nanticoke home. And also I'd like to add, you made a very interesting point about we've only played Valley West. For the playoffs, for district, for the 4A playoffs, 3 teams go, and these games are very important. It's only league record, and of course, head-to-head competition with Berwick, with Pittston, with Tunkhannock, with Coughlin is very, very important.
Okay.
So, obviously, 3 teams out of the 6 go to the 4A playoffs.
That magnifies the importance again of that huge win a week ago, and of course, as you're saying,
and
each game.
I know
the way you prepare your squads, because you're saying, okay, great performance, fellas, but tonight we have to be on our toes because this is a squad that could jump up and get you.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Okay, we're going to be back to talk more with Coach Live following this message. Fran Labonati, Roundball Digest, Coach Bruce Live, and as always, been very enjoyable talking tonight, Coach. And we looked back, Wyoming Valley West. Of course, we're looking at the present, which is Berwick. I'm going to talk as a fan. Future, maybe you could fill us in on the remaining games in our division.
Well, again, we have hopefully the court's ready for Friday. We have Tunkhannock at home. Pittston, the makeup game Saturday night, and then the following Tuesday at Coughlin. They're going to be tough games. They're exciting games, though. I memean, I'm not saying that I enjoyed it less when we were beating teams by 20 and 30 at halftime when we had the Jeff Antoliks and Bobby Kruzanskis, but the league, we have good players now, but I think the league has come up, and we don't have we have a very young team this year, but we're playing very well. They're very enjoyable to coach, and the games are more exciting. There's no question about it.
I know you're much more concerned about Berwick, but I would like that Friday, Saturday. How, as a coach, do you prepare for that? Because it's very odd that you get a high school team playing on consecutive nights.
We prepare for we've already prepared for Pittston, 2 practices, and then the game was postponed. So we'll prepare more for Tunkhannock, and then Saturday we'll do a pregame against Pittston, and we'll be ready.
Okay, is your pregame, is that a shoot around? You normally
no, just chalk talk. I mean, the practice will be the Tunkhannock game, win or lose. That'll be our practice, and that's how you have to do it. In Colorado, ironically, in all of our league games out there, games are always Friday and Saturday. The principals voted that for academic reasons for kids coming to games. We always played Friday, Saturday.
Okay, so they're Friday. I was going to say, once again,
very rarely did we not play Friday, Saturday.
Not arrogance, but confident. You didn't seem too concerned with that, because I know going back many years ago, coaches would get very much concerned if they played consecutive nights, and I'm noticing now you're going to be playing 3 games in 5 nights.
Again, if we have control over a situation, then there might be some concern. If you don't have control over a situation, there's really not much you can do. It's the old don't cry over spilt milk thing, and I'm used to it. We've played 4 games in 6 nights already with the weather. This is Hazelton, the Hazelton area, the Cole region, northeastern Pennsylvania. We usually get at least 8 weeks of severe weather, and it doesn't look like this year's going to be any different.
I just wanted to mention that you said the Coughlin game is away also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Boy, you really, if things go well, really a very demanding.
Well, it would really, if we can do it, it would really be a Willie Nelson deal, no question, on the road again. But we're just going to take them one at a time, go out there, play hard, try to play with confidence, have some fun, and prepare hard.
Willie, we're going to have to say good luck again, big guy. You don't need the ponytail. You don't need the ponytail, and always a pleasure talking to you, Coach. See you again next week. Thanks for watching. See you in a week.